Hello, Empowered Woman. Welcome to this episode of the Empowered Woman podcast. Are you feeling lost? Low sales, no engagement? What do you do when nothing seems to be working? As I was thinking about what to cover on this episode, this came to mind. I've gone through this countless times in my business, and I figured someone out there may appreciate advice on this. I also share about the replay of my Reels and Beyond workshop that has everything to do with this, and some new ventures in my business.
Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Empowered Woman podcast, the #1 show on personal growth, visibility, and profit for women entrepreneurs. If you're wanting to start believing in yourself, giving yourself permission to succeed, and let your voice be heard to make an impact in the world as an entrepreneur, this is the place for you. I am so glad that you're here. My name is Marta Spurk, and I'm your host, triplet mom, woman empowerment coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode.
As I'm recording this, yesterday I did my latest workshop, Reels and Beyond. And one of the things that I shared on the workshop, obviously through personality types, is how not every strategy works for everybody. And there's so much frustration that goes with buying into a program or a course that tells you this is the way. No reference to Star Wars intended. You do know I got a puppy, right? And his name is Mando for Mandalorian. So sometimes when we say things like this, we're like, oh my gosh, this is so Star Wars. Anyways, so it's very frustrating. And I am sure as a business owner, if you've been around long enough, this has happened to you. You've invested in something that was supposedly the thing that was going to help you move your business forward. And a lot of it is in the marketing. A lot of it is in your expectations and putting all of your eggs in one basket and setting yourself up for that frustration. Okay, so I don't want to point fingers at other coaches and mentors out there, because some people do this, but it also, the person that invests into these things, their attitude also is to blame in some aspects. But I talked about how not all strategies work for everyone and not all the time. And I pointed out how feelers, thinkers, and doers behave when it comes to trying a new strategy, especially when it comes to marketing, because that was the focus of the workshop, is finding a way to create content that works for you, not cookie cutter. Ever since I've been, diving into the Enneagram, and honestly, ever since publishing my book, I've been talking about this all the time. You may have noticed. And it's really served me well because it's helped me understand myself. And most importantly, it's helped me understand my clients so that I'm not imposing my way of operating onto my clients. That leads to frustration. And I don't want to be responsible for that. I want to help them find the way themselves, right? Through my experiences, through my wisdom that I've acquired in the almost 6 years of business now. So when I was thinking, okay, what am I going to record? What am I going to talk about in this episode? Obviously, I don't want to give away everything that I did in the workshop because I want you to get the replay of the workshop, which, by the way, you can. It's still $37. You can go to bit.ly/Beyond Reels, and I'll have this in the show notes. And check it out. Several of the ladies that showed up for this workshop that hadn't watched my previous Reels workshop also bought the replay. So when you go to checkout, there's that option as well. And it's really juicy stuff. It's really good. This is the kind of stuff that I used to do for free and then invite people to something else. And I told them yesterday, I was like, I've grown to realize that my stuff is valuable and I can charge for it. So it's all in the journey. My goodness, it's all in the journey. So as I was teaching this and saying, there are times when we're like, nothing's working and we feel so frustrated. After finishing the workshop, I started thinking, what am I going to talk about on this episode? And then I thought, what could I say to help somebody that is going through this right now, that is really feeling lost, that's contemplating, wrapping up their business and just saying goodbye, or maybe switching to something different. They're experiencing low sales. They have no engagement. They're just really, really down on themselves and on the business, and potentially arguing with a spouse, I've known all of this. I've lived through all of this, my friend. So that's why I'm talking about this. And so the question came to mind, what do you do when nothing's working? Or what do you do when nothing seems to be working, right? Because perception is key here. So I want to remind you of the 3 pillars that I shared on my previous solo episode that I've really identified in everything that I do. And I'm constantly adjusting my content to my new experiences and my new realizations with working with clients and in my own business. There is no way you can advance in your business without paying attention to these 3 areas. It's really like this triangle that needs equal attention, okay? Mindset, I know you've heard it before and it may be annoying to say, but it's true because your thoughts create your reality. Strategy, you have to have strategy. Please don't follow people or try your best to at least second guess people that are telling you, yeah, you don't need to worry about, the stats, and you don't need to worry about the strategy of, the emails and blah, blah. Just, focus on your thoughts and everything will come to you. That's not true. You have to take action and you have to take account of the action. There has to be some type of measurement because what you measure pretty much doesn't exist. What you can't measure pretty much doesn't exist. It has to be measured, and that's the strategy portion. And finally, the connections. You can't build a business in a vacuum. You're going to be serving people, right? Even if it's a product-based business that you don't really have interaction with other people, there will be questions. There will be refund requests, whatever have you, okay? You're going to have to be in touch with suppliers, right? You're going to have employees. There is no other way around it. Connections, relationships, all of these things come to play. And guess what? Everything overlaps because your mindset is going to affect the way you relate to people, right? Your mindset is going to affect your strategy, and your strategy is going to affect your mindset. Your strategy is going to affect your relationships. You see what I mean? So this is pretty true here, okay? It's a pretty big realization that I had, and I want you to, if anything, as you're feeling lost, frustrated right now, start thinking about what has your mind been doing in this process, right? Are you allowing it to go to the place where it says everything is lost and you suck? Okay, because that's contributing to the way that you're feeling, into the things that you're doing. Then take account of your strategy. What are the things that you're doing right now? What are the things that you have done in the past? And I'm getting ahead of myself because I want to break down all of them in connections to the relationships. All right, so let's talk about the first one. And before I was even going to say mindset, strategy, and connections, as I asked the question when I was typing out my notes for this episode, what do you do when nothing's working? First thing that came to mind was, but is it really not working or is it your perception? And that is reframing, and that has everything to do with your mindset. So my first advice for you is get curious about the feelings that you're feeling. Get curious about the thoughts that you're having that are negative, okay? Because the moment you start judging yourself, yeah, you're right, Marta, I'm an awful person because I'm already thinking about giving up. You are already defaulting to your ego, and that's not going to get you anywhere. You're just going to stay in the dumps, okay? So that's a choice, and I'm telling you right now, choose to be curious. Choose curiosity. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking this? This is part of the process of reframing, right? What if I choose a different perspective on what I'm feeling? And oftentimes we don't want to do that because we want the pity party. And I want you to allow yourself to have the pity party. I want to allow yourself to feel those feelings, but I want you to also understand that it's your choice to take yourself out of that place. And the first step, because it's really easy for me to say when I'm not feeling frustrated right now as I'm recording this episode, it's really easy for me to say, hey, get out of that space. And I've been in that space. So I know it's not that easy. So what is the first step? It's not just magically snapping your fingers and getting out of it. It's choose curiosity. And the way you could do this is talk to somebody. I'll get to that too. Start journaling, or maybe just in your mind. Take a moment, even pause this episode and ask yourself, why am I thinking this? So let's assess. And I have a few questions here for you. Beyond, is it really not working? I want you to think about what exactly it is that you're upset. Because many times we're just upset about the general, right? Oh, not making money this month. I made less money than last month, or whatever. I want you to get more specific. Because as you get more specific, you start seeing that you are potentially making a mountain out of a molehill. Okay? So, what is it that you're disappointed with? And in this process, I want you to start finding gratitude, because that's really the biggest issue here, is that you're failing to look at the things that are working. And instead, you are telling your brain to focus on what's not working. And you are intentionally, whether consciously or not, putting yourself in this negative space. Does this make sense? Right? And here's an example. You set a goal of, I want at least 5 people to sign up for this, or 10 people to sign up for this. I want to sell 10 of this, whatever it is, when it comes to your business. And then the first sale comes in and you're so excited. But then the next few days go on and no more sales. So what happens? You start focusing on the people that didn't sign up, the offer that wasn't sold, versus the one that already said yes to you, that already validated your offer, that already believed and trusted in what you have to offer, that already proved to you that you're not an imposter and there's something there, right? But that doesn't matter. That person doesn't matter. What about the other ones that haven't said yes? They're saying no, and then you create the stories. They are saying no. They think I'm an imposter. They don't see the value. They don't trust me. Do you see what's going on here? And we do this all the time. And this is something that last year, one of my mentors brought this to my attention, is this lack of gratitude into almost saying that the person that said yes to you, or the people, even if it's not the number that you expected, are less valuable than the ones that said no. Isn't that insane? And we do this all the time. So think about this for a minute. Okay, a few questions for this first step of reframing and looking into your mindset as you're feeling disappointed and frustrated with your business and yourself. Is it really not working? Or are you just disappointed with one specific thing? Now, I know it's super cliche, but that's why it's cliche, right? What are the things that are working? List them out. Be grateful for the things that are working, and especially for the people that believed in you, that proved to you that things are indeed working. Okay? So that's step number 1. But we don't stay there, because we need to take some action too. So let's go to step 2, which is our strategy. It's all fun and games when everything is working, right? But then when nothing seems to work, we just want to act like a toddler and pout. And I already covered that with the first step. And this second step gets often overlooked because you don't even want to go there because you're so sad, right? But hear me out on this. Hear me out on this from someone that's had experience for several years. And I could list my accolades here. And then my brain will start trying to go there and say, Marta, you have no experience. You really don't know what you're talking about. Why would people listen to you? See, it happens to me too. But for this second step, I want you to look back and think about the things you've done that did work, right? So even if you're thinking about the one client that did sign up and you're grateful for that client, okay, awesome. That step's done. Now, what is it that you did that allowed that person to connect with you and say yes to you? What was the one thing or several things about what you put out there that was interesting to this person? And you can even go and ask them. This is part of your market research and your strategy development, is asking current clients what made them sign up. What was the tipping point? This is huge because you can leverage that for your next offers and for your marketing. Okay? And why do we overlook this step? Because we want to overcomplicate things to procrastinate. And I came up with this little saying. I think I coined this. We overcomplicate to procrastinate. Isn't that the truth? And we also overcomplicate to justify failure. So in case it doesn't work out, isn't that so sad that we're setting ourselves up to protect ourselves from imminent disappointment. So are you really going to be successful that way? When you're already preparing the plan for what you're going to do or what you're going to say when things don't work out, that's terrible. Okay? So oftentimes we overcomplicate or we overlook certain things because we're already preparing ourselves to point blame and to lay blame on something else other than ourselves. So I want you to think, what is it that you did? And I want to give you an example in my own business. Because the reason why I'm sharing all this is because I've experienced this several times. And there were times I had no idea what to do. And then I started getting a little bit smarter and understanding that this will happen over and over again in business. And I better know what to do when I feel like things are not working, or when I feel disappointed in myself or in my launches or whatever. So earlier this year, as I was releasing my book, I released a couple of offers, and it wasn't as successful as I had done in the past. And I was really disappointed with myself. There were moments when I cried on Zoom with friends, with my coaches. And ultimately, what helped me get out of there was looking back and seeing what had worked and choosing for my next steps things that were going to give me quick wins so that I could quickly get myself out of that space. Find things that would make me see that I wasn't as terrible as I thought I was, and my business wasn't as unsuccessful as I was thinking it was, so that I could keep going. So giving myself little treats along the way, right? So what I did was I understood, okay, what has worked in the past? Nurturing my memberships was worked in the past. The people that trust me already are the people that end up signing up to all of my things, the people in my membership. And that's why I've loved having a membership. If you're considering starting a membership, please send me a message and I'm happy to tell you why I've loved having a membership, or go back and listen to my episode with Stu McLaren here on the show, where I talk about how amazing my members have been to me as a business owner. And I was like, okay, that was the moment that I'm just explaining to you right now. It gave me hope. Okay, if I rely on the people that already trusted me, then maybe I can come up with something that they will want, that can support them in their business, and I can feel like I'm being productive here. And I can bring in some income and know that I'm helping somebody. So what did I do? I scheduled one-on-one calls with every single member that would want to talk to me. And I took that time. I took those 30 minutes per person, and it was amazing to reconnect with these people that I really don't connect with on a one-on-one basis because it's always group calls. So this is what I want you to think about is, what is it that you can do right now to gain insight? Again, get curious. Okay, so this is the underlying theme. Get curious about your thoughts on step 1. Step 2, get curious about your strategy. What is it that you're doing that's not working? And most importantly, what is it that you could do that will work, that will give you some quick wins? So instantly, as I started having these calls with these clients, with my members, I felt so uplifted because I was literally talking to somebody that was an active client, that was willing to give me feedback, that was willing to share with me their journey, what they were going through in their business, and what could be helpful to them. And then I asked them, what would be helpful to you? Because I'm thinking about coming up with something different for the membership, for the school members. And through that, I came up with a mastermind, a 90-day mastermind, and we're still going through it. And it was all because I asked them their input. I asked them what was going on with their business. I became interested, right? Instead of just putting out stuff and hoping people will come, I became interested in what they're going through so that I could come up with something that's valuable to them. That's strategy. That's market research 101. And I encourage you to do more market research with current clients as opposed to always trying to, fish elsewhere. So that's step number 2. And step number 3, which I kind of already touched on, which goes hand in hand with my triad, mindset, strategy, last one, connections. I want you to not suffer in silence and by yourself. By all means, don't throw a pity party and expect people to come in and join you, but share these thoughts and feelings with somebody else, right? Share it with friends. And this is something that, especially if you're a doer, I will say this, it may be harder for you because doers struggle with vulnerability. So by you reaching out to somebody and saying, things are not working out, I don't feel good, you may feel so freaking weak. And to that I say, go watch Brene Brown's TED Talk, go watch her documentary, go read her books, right? Vulnerability is strength. So I want you to lean on friends. I want you to share this with somebody, because this person is not in your mind. They're not living the exact situation that you're living. Even if they commiserate with the feelings of frustration, they are almost guaranteed going to ask you some of the questions I'm asking you right now. But is it really not working? Are you really that trash of an entrepreneur? They're going to help you, okay? And the reason why oftentimes we don't reach out to people, not only because of the weakness, it's because we don't want to hear this, because we already know this. And we want to stay in our pity party. You know what I'm talking about. I'm no different than you, and you're no different than me. This is how humans are. I'm not going to talk about the crap that I'm going through because, one, I'm going to seem weak, and two, people are going to start giving me advice and trying to get me out of it. And I don't want to. I want to feel bad, and I want to pout. Okay? So sure, give yourself that time. But then, friend, don't stay there. Tell your mentors, I don't feel very good. I've been going through some stuff. Cry on Zoom. I give you permission today to cry on Zoom on your next coaching call. And if you don't have a mentor and somebody that can support you, hello, this is what I'm here for. I hope this is supportive and helpful to you, but I would love to help you sort through these things. And one of the easiest steps is for you to join the Empowered Women School, because this is what we do in our calls. Lift you up. It's not just about what's the next step. It's about, hey, how are you feeling? What's going on in your mind? And reach out to your family too. At times, family won't be as supportive, and they may even say, you know what, quit this business. And that's not something you want to hear either. But use your wisdom to know which family member and friend is the person that will be helpful in this situation, and not just tell you to give up. But allow yourself to feel good. Because in these times, we often just want to perpetuate that cycle. Misery loves company, right? So one thought of misery wants another thought of misery, and then you create this cycle in your mind that you can't get out of. It's your choice. You have the power over these thoughts. They don't have power over you, really, if you choose to do something different. So allow yourself to feel good. Allow yourself to go, out with friends and not think about it. Allow yourself to go and watch a movie so that you can space things out and actually laugh and actually feel good. Like, depending on how low you're feeling right now, this may seem really crazy to you, right? Simple advice. Take your mind off of things and go spend time with your family. But depending on what you're going through, you don't even want to hear this, and you don't even want to try to do this or think about doing this. I know because I've been there. But this is really what helps you get out of it. And I'll recap. Reframe those thoughts. Is it really not working? So pay close attention to your mindset. Get curious about your mindset right now. Number 2, look back. What have you done that did work? Get curious about your strategy. And third and final, find support. Open up, right? Get curious about what other people could say about your situation, right? This is where the curiosity comes in, because you may be feeling so lost and so frustrated that you don't even want to hear what people have to say. And again, this may have everything to do with some sort of pride. You don't want to look weak, and you also don't want to be uplifted at the end of the day. I just want to feel like crap. So get curious about that thought. Is that how you're feeling? Go find support. Not that you're going to be whining to people, but you're not meant to be an island, so find support. So I hope this was helpful, and this has everything to do, again, with the workshop that I just taught, and I talked more specifically about the strategy involving content creation. So if you are feeling lost, low sales, no engagement, after you go through these 3 steps that I just outlined for you, go check out the replay of the Beyond Reels or Reels and Beyond workshop, because I'm going to give you some practical steps onto, okay, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to promote my offers, and I'm going to make some sales. That's the goal, right? So you can check out the replay. The Facebook group is still open. I opened up a pop-up Facebook group where we're going to be, asking questions, posting stuff. I'm also doing a raffle for the ladies that do their homework. I'm going to be giving away some free Audible copies of my book, The Empowered Woman. So go on and join us there. And one final thing that I wanted to share with you, since today is actually July 1st, we're officially starting Q3. Something fun that's been happening in my business that I had no intention on going into is doing done-for-you marketing. It really came about as I started talking with my publishing consultant, Veronica Yeager. I actually have to have her here on the show sometime, about helping her clients, her author clients, with social media and with marketing for their books. And I've already started working with 2 of her clients, and she's bringing on more on creating their social media and creating their content. And I've started extending this to other clients as well, and offering them this kind of hybrid done with you, done for you, where if you really don't like self-promotion and you really don't have the time for social media and it just makes you extremely lost, confused, frustrated, hand it over, friends. Hand it over. So I'll be talking more about this soon, but I'm super excited to have gotten these 2 clients. I also want to start interviewing these author clients because I want to showcase them and the work that they're doing. So I'm super excited about that. And it's something unexpected and something that has been so easy because she's literally just referring these clients to me, and I'm having such a great time allowing it to be easy for me because of everything that I just talked about in this episode. Sometimes things are hard, and a lot of times we are making it hard on ourselves. We are overcomplicating it. We're overcomplicating it to justify failure. And I want to encourage you to not do that and instead find the easier route, the simpler route, because that's where the money really is. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have an amazing start to your new month. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Don't forget to go check out the replay of my workshop, Reels and Beyond. The link is in the show notes, and connect with me. If you liked this episode, there is no like button for podcasts. You have to leave me a review, but if you already have left me a review, thank you. Reach out to me on social media, take a screenshot of this episode, tag me and say this was helpful, and share it with your friends, right? Share it. Until next time, bye.